What's up, guys? Mystery Motors again. We are back on this Husqvarna. I've got what I hope is a suitable screwdriver to hopefully remove this pilot jet that I think is our problem. So if you tuned into the last one here, I'd say we were looking pretty good. We pulled it out. We kind of got an eye on the carb. Think we got it figured out. Think that pilot jet, I just couldn't get it out before, and it's just a little gunked up. So filter's looking nice. Which, if you watched that last video, you know it's looking good. But we're just gonna do a quick one. We're gonna rip this off real quick, as fast as we can. And then try and get that pilot jet out and get that real clean and slap her back together. I did cut the grass the other day, and I would say I hit a patch that I'd consider to be fairly averagely thick. Every 2 weeks or so you figure you're going to be cutting your grass. So I'd say it was decent, and it didn't bog down or anything. So I think we're on the right track. So let's get this carb off and see what that jet looks like. Just let that. Not going to leak out as long as it's taller than where the gas level is. So again, with this, you kind of got to pull your governor off. At least that's kind of what makes sense to me. Easiest way to do it. That way you get a nice clean look at the engine here as well. So make sure there's no nests in there looking to overheat your motor. So again, you move this little piece over, your throttle linkage will pop right out, and then you take your little spring, and there you have procured yourself a carburetor. Let's take it apart. Alright, guys, my neighbor's cutting the grass, so we gotta hopefully make a quick one out of this before it gets too close. So let's see, we're gonna pop the bowl off, nice and easy. And another thing, I didn't really mention it outwardly, but when I was working on the last video, I mentioned it in the video that the gas kind of looked a little bit not clear. So I'm almost wondering if maybe she was using some old gas as well. Because I never obviously put old gas in these old mowers. So yeah, so the jet in question is right in there. I don't know if that's focusing or not. It's tough to tell, guys, but it's in there. Hopefully my screwdriver will work now. If not, we might have to I think we might need to. We might have to file this down a little bit more. Kind of working with a broken screwdriver. The tip chipped off, so it's just kind of not where it needs to be. But I think we are still maybe just a little bit thick. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to take this back in, file this down even more. Worst case, man, we might just order a new carb for it, because they're pretty cheap. Can't get that out, and I'm almost positive that that's kind of the issue, because it definitely ran a whole lot better after cleaning this. you know, when we got it back. So let me run in, check this out real quick. Alright guys, we've got our updated screwdriver. Let's hope it's enough to grab this jet. Go. Man, this thing is just feels very gunky. Let's see. Get out of there. There it is. That's what we've got. I mean, it's definitely yeah, you can see all the gunkiness kind of around the bottom, a little bit of maybe some ethanol buildup there, that kind of almost powdery looking substance. But yeah, let's see, you can kind of see all that right there. That's pretty crazy. So that tells me maybe this thing was you know, a few seasons of stored with gas in it, potentially. And I think that's kind of part of the course, you know. You get these and you just kind of store them, and oh yeah, you can kind of see. Ooh, hopefully we can see that. Hopefully you can see through that. You can definitely tell that that is partially clogged. So let me hit it with some brake clean, and then we're gonna hit it with some good guys. Wear your glasses. And then we're going to hit it with our bristles. Like so. Let's not lose it in the grass. Alright. Bristles into the end of the jet there. Yeah, it's definitely partially clogged. Like, it's kind of strange. Typically it'll be on or off, but it looks like there's like a portion of that circle that's makes it look like a D, oblong maybe. Wow. Yeah, we kind of muffed it up, it looks like, with our screwdriver last time we tried getting this out. Hopefully it goes back in proper, and then the next time it has to come out, hopefully, you know, might just be a new carb or even just a new jet. You can get these jets replaced, but yeah, it still looks like we're kind of clogged up here. Let's see. You gotta find those long straggly wires to feed through there. There we go. So essentially what I'm thinking is, you know, what you saw on the outside bottom, you know, bit of that thread is basically what happens inside the jets. You know, it just gets gunked up, everything else, and just doesn't want to run as well as it should. So yeah, we've got 3 or 4 bristles right there. We'll stuff those bristles in there, give it a little twirl. There we go. Now we're talking. That's a good floss right there. Oh man, that's that satisfying floss. All right, we'll shoot it out. Let's see, is that going perfect? Okay. And then the other thing with this is she had mentioned that the oh yeah, look at that, guys. That is, I'd say that's fully clear. I would say it is. Let's see here. Trying to. It's kind of tough to see. Hopefully you can kind of see that passage, but let's see. I think we're definitely on the right track here, guys. We'll finish getting this. Twirl that around there. Make sure we don't have any corrosion inside, and we'll slap it back together. You know, ideally this is a job for your what are they called? Ultrasonic cleaner. But unfortunately I don't have one set up for parts like this. So we are doing it old school, you know, just good old abrasives and little pressurized spray. Don't have the compressor. I didn't want to lug the compressor out here, but I figure the main thing with this is just getting something down in that jet hole there and scrubbing it clean. And I think we got it. I mean, I think that is considerably better. So if I had to guess, I think this thing is going to be running as smooth as I've heard it run. Yeah, so it sounds like it was just this main jet was clogged. And then maybe I think maybe she had some old gas she put in it, so you know, you kind of got some old gas that doesn't want to burn super well. Slightly clogged jet, you know, just that recipe for disaster. I'll just keep doing this for a little bit here, make sure we really get all that cleaned up. And then the other thing was it was leaking gas, which it actually is leaking gas from the cap. So these caps, it's got like a super fat mouth, and there's an actual O-ring in there. And I think this O-ring is just past its prime. So I'm going to see if I have an O-ring that fits, but worst case, we just buy a new cap. But otherwise, I think that should do it. We'll run it a little bit, cut the yard with it, run it through its paces before we, you know, decide to put it back up for sale. But yeah, that's what it's all about. Having some fun with it, doing some learning, you know, figuring it out. You know, sometimes it's like this where, you know, it takes you a few times wrenching on it before it finally clicks, which can be frustrating, but, you know, patience. Patience is key when it comes to diagnosing and repairing and everything else in these small motors. But guys, I think this is it. I think this is the way. We'll give it one or two more spritzes. Let's see. That's beautiful. Cool. Well, let's see how this goes back in here. Oh yeah, you can see it's kind of a little gunked up down in there too. So let's see here. Yeah, it does. It looks like, I don't know how we would really get that out, but it does look like there is another little jet inside. So yeah, guys, I mean, that might be time for that ultrasonic cleaner. Might be time for it. But otherwise, I think that's looking pretty clear. Tough to see. It's a little dark in there. You're not going to be able to really tell, but I think we're looking good. Open that up. Oh yeah, that's clean. That is clean. Cool. Well, let's hope this goes back together smoothly. I'll just spray everything back out one more time while we're in here. Make sure we're clear. Running good. Alright, let's get our jet down in there. Let's see, that's much better. Much better. Alright, guys. Sink that in. Yeah, I think the issue I was having with the screwdriver, I don't know if the tip is wide enough. And then it's tough too, because if it's super wide, and then it won't even fit down in the hole. So it's kind of like a, you know, you got that custom screwdriver action, but that's definitely in there. Okay. Awesome. Let's get our float back in. And again, this just kind of seats right over there. No need to take the needle out because we were just in there. This is actually, I kind of like this design. It kind of keeps the needle and the float together. You know, because that's, if it's your first time wrenching on these, you know, you'll soon realize that sometimes these parts can become a little, you know, little magicians out here. Just disappear on you. So, patience, time, and, you know, just don't be afraid to dive back in if you feel unsure about something. Because it can be as easy as just a little teeny clog in a passage, and, you know, it drives you crazy. So, let's get this put back on. Alright guys, we got our gasket on there. Nice and easy on this, you don't even have to take it off. We are going to hook our spring on first. And then we are going to hook our linkage up, which for this you gotta have to open that circuit. It slides in, close it back, and then we will slide our carburetor on. Okay, and then let's go ahead, toss on our choke as well. Wrong side. There we go. The choke swings around. It's going to hook on like so. And again, the choke just connects to the exhaust. It functions by heat. So when this little mechanism heats up, it pulls this and removes the choke off of the engine. So definitely a fun mechanism, a neat mechanism. You know, gone are the days of priming your carb and everything else. And to be honest, it probably lasts a lot longer too if they use the, you know, the non-ethanol gas that they used to. It's the ethanol generally that kind of gunks up your carburetor if it sits, if you don't run it out of gas, you know, at the end of each season. Cool, we are on there. I am going to need this again. Let's see. So from here, let's slap our fuel back on it. Like so. Cinch it down. Like so. Got this. Remember, this is just a vent recirc for your gas, but it goes on the cover, which it looks like our gasket is still in our cover there, so you want to make sure you have that. It's going to go right on the bottom. Just push that little cable on there, and you're going to seat it over your studs, and then really just take another peek, make sure we're all looking good, making sure we're lined up. Oh, that's why. So there's these little metal dowels, it looks like, that seat into your airbox. So just make sure those are free. Cool. It's gonna pop over just like so, and then you have your two 10 mils. two 10 millimeters right here. So yeah, this carb, I think that's pretty much it. I didn't think there was any other jets on this, so technically I guess this is a full carb clean video, so a little bit more to the point. But you know, generally you pull a carb off and there'll be a lot of different little brass, you know, brown metal pieces in there that some can be removed, others I think are pressed in. You know, but generally, you know, just remove the ones you can, clean them out, compressed air, you know, everything else. That is snug as a bug. Very nice. Let's get our cover put back on with our recoil. And again, 10 mils here as well. 3 10s. So three 10 mils up top. Yeah, this one can be kind of a pain. There we go. This one. And the rear, and then yeah guys, like I said, I mean, this mower should hopefully run very smooth now. It was already running a lot smoother after cleaning the carb when we got it back, so I'm thinking maybe there was some bad gas involved, and you know, pair that up with cutting the field that she was talking about cutting, and maybe that just kind of gummed it up enough for it to act how it's acting. But yeah, another thing I'm noticing right now, check this out. Does that look oblong to you? Kind of looks a little oblong. Maybe that's why the gas cap isn't really seating flush. Maybe we just need a new gas can altogether. Oh no. Huh. If we do, you know, no biggie. Get a new gas can, fuel can there. Cool. Let's slap this filter back on and give it a test. There we go. I'd say that is a huge difference. I might try and splice in the first footage of starting this up after getting it back, but it runs extremely smooth now. Like extremely smooth. It's still kind of, you know, we got that little backfire when it kicked off the first time, but I'm wondering if maybe it just needs to burn off, you know, some fuel just needs to be ran or something like that. But we'll see. You know, like I said, we'll keep this for a few weeks, put it through its paces before, you know, we're confident enough to sell it again. You know, but for, you know, a small flat yard, this thing should be perfect. That sounded really good. I think we'll give it one more start, just to, you know, just to be safe. But that's like night and day as far as just how smooth it was. So if you've got a mower running a little rough, not running at all, this is generally kind of where you want to start, especially if it's a mower that ran last year. You know, last time you put it away, it ran. This is really all you need to do. It all comes down basically to the fuel system. You know, if it ran great, you put it away and it doesn't run anymore, I would say, you know, 8-9 times out of 10 it's going to be fuel related. You know, outside of the instances where, you know, maybe mice or something get in and chew something up, but really on these mowers there's not really any cables. I mean, you know, you have the coil for the spark plug, that's how you get your spark, but that cable's so short and fat and stuffed in there that, you know, I've never seen one chewed up, you know, on a small mower like this. But if you got a rider, you know, a lot more wiring, everything else, might be a different story. Well, guys, I think that definitely does it for this one. I'm excited to, you know, come to the conclusion that it was in fact that pilot jet. We'll get that gas cap figured out, whether it's the gas cap or the can. You know, we'll do some hunting and figure that out. But otherwise, get this thing cleaned up, run it a little bit, and see how it's doing. So. Thanks for joining us again. This is Mystery Motors. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.